Where is more? They go. Alright. Dead Space Time. Oh, did anybody check out that Solo Leveling Season 2 episode? I did not. I saw my brother watching it, and he was like, yelling at me. He's like, Son! Did you see the Season 2 Solo Leveling? And I was like, I didn't even see Season 1! Yeah. Shame? How is it though? Is it good? You should watch it. Should I? I tried reading it though. I couldn't even get past like episode 1 of the manhwa. It's a solid watch. I see. Oh god. Why is my controller not working? No! Why is it doing this? No. Is this scuff in the morning now? No, is it doing its thingy again? No, please. Hold on, let me restart my game. Alright. You watched the abridged his sister? The abridged his sister wants to get in his pants after he transforms and becomes strong. Huh? Is that the whole title? Oh my god. No, that's just how Solo Leveling Abridged plays out. Oh shit! I thought that was like oh my god. I thought it was like one of those like isekai like titles, like, you know, I got isekai to run, my hero is a killer or something, you know? There you go. It all started because he asked how he looked to his sister and the community went on one. Damn! What? And his sister's 24. Wow! Wait, what? Hey yo! What do you mean? Oh my god! Go to the mining deck. Right. Oh yeah, we beat that one boss, right? The giant, what is his name? The tentacle boss. I remember that. And I think I ended there.
Cannot determine clearance level. Master security override required.
Hopefully I remember how to play. It's been like a week. The Juggernaut one? The one that's like, I don't think it's a Juggernaut one. It's like the big tentacle one with like eyeballs. Not eyeballs. The one that we have to like suck into like space or something. Override? Go to the mining deck. I don't remember the name.
Level
I
3
don't remember the
security
name.
clearance required.
The mining deck systems are running haywire.
Damn, Daniel.
Great.
Level 3
Let me work on the elevators.
security clearance required.
Any idea where Temple's SOS beacon might be?
Oh, check the mining control room. The launch tubes there could send out a beacon easy.
Anyone there?
Hammond? Where are you?
In the vents, hoping they don't hear me.
Wait, I think I have the perfect wake-up call? No.
No, the unitologist.
What are you gonna
They're all here on
do?
the crew deck.
I'm awake! I swear I'm awake!
Okay, I know this is a really bad idea, but it's 2 a.m. and
Hammond!
I'm bored. And I'm gonna regret this so much. Okay. Ready? Right. Extra nozzle pounces on you. Ooh, you so warm. Couldn't help but notice your butt from across the floor. That's where you make it, you wake it to the heat. I'm still so baggy as pencil, baby. You so musty. Take me home, pet me, and make me yours, and don't forget to stuff me. See me while my little baby tail for your boys, you watch kisses and lickies and neck. I hope daddy like these nuzzles and wuzzles are jazz. I be getting thirsty. Hey, I got a little itch. You think you can help me? Only 7 inches long. Ooh, please stop me. Pulse on your boy just like a lips. Ooh, punish me, please. Better hit them with this fairy shit. You don't see it coming. Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ. Did you ever regret it? I regret it a whole lot. I regret it. This is like my best worst decision I regret ever. Dead Space is a great game. 1 and 2 are both great. 3 was kind of shit. There's not even a 3. What do you mean 3 was kind of shit? Okay. Let's do I feel like flamethrower has been really nice to me. Yeah. Wait, there is a 3? There is a Dead Space 3? It was a co-op one? Oh. A co-op Dead Space. That's it? That's all my... Okay, I only have 3 health. That's terrible. Actually terrible. Extra nozzle sponsors on you. Oh, you're so warm. In Dead Space 3, they focus more on action than horror, and they ruined the... Really?
This is weird.
I mean, that usually happens
Mining
is like...
subjects
Oh,
are locked down,
like
even though all
co-op
systems
games,
are running.
right?
I'm gonna figure this out.
Activate it? I don't know if I should though. Oh, I think I have to, right? Minus. Why are chickens good at teamwork? Because they play co-op games all the time. Shut the fuck up! Why does a chicken coop has... Why does a chicken coop have 2 doors? Because if it has 4, it would be a chicken... sedan? 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 I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm not a car person. What is that? What's going on? Ow! I'm dead. Okay. Sit down. Damn, Daniel. Alright. Have a good stream. Don't die inside too much fun loss of sleep. Please fix your schedule. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Have a good night. Sleep well, Kenny. Rest well. Get lots of sleep. Be a better me. Make sure you lock your doors, lock your windows, lock your closet, because I'm gonna lurk. Okay. That's it? That's all I get? I'll try? Yep, try. Where are you? Shoot yourself! Okay. come out here, huh? Okay. A flare. Come on! Come at me! Yeah! You're gonna die! Oh fuck. Here. Fuck, I don't have any more energy thingy. There's no charger here? No charger? Oh my god. Like, why does the nurse carry a red crayon? Why? To draw blood. That's actually so funny. Oh. No, I didn't mean to get you. Fuck, I messed up. Can I move it by hand? Oh wait. It's gone. Oh wait, I could go up here? Holy shit. I see it! My goodness. That's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. Really? That's actually pretty good. I haven't heard that one yet. Destruction area? Sorry. No. Hey, break your leg. He really broke a leg. Alright. This is safe space, I see. What can I buy? What can I buy? Some more health? Only has 7k. Okay. Do I need this though? I don't wanna waste my money on this though. Okay. Holy damn. We did? Why is this no charger? Like rechargeable thingy that I can take. Thrower. Bench. Okay, stasis refill can help in a pinch but aren't really needed. Ah. Alright. I don't need more stasis though. Which kinda sucks. Okay, I need to put battery there. Oh my god! Hello, Susu! Welcome! I'm in class, so I can hear you talk. Alright, thank you! Thank you for coming! Have fun in class, be safe. Alright, stasis. Where's the... batteries are here. I don't need more stasis though, right? What? Okay, we go over here. Activate the launch tubes. Get off me! I was not prepared for this! At least give me items. little chickens. Okay, level 3. I only had level 2, huh? Oh, kinda creepy. Okay, log. Flamethrower. Load beacon. Bacon? Load bacon? Bacon mental hospital? Oh my god.
Level 3 security
Level
clearance
3.
required.
Okay, nothing else.
Launch tubes sealed. Please contact Supervisor Dallas for authorization.
Finally getting somewhere with the mining duct systems. Got the SOS beacon?
No, and the launch
Got the
tubes are sealed.
SOS
I
bacon.
need a deck administrators to get them open.
The deck admin is Supervisor Dallas. He's on the processing subdeck. I've got rig activity for a Jacob Temple 2 maintenance subdeck. Maybe he left the SOS beacon there. Just hope you can reach it through these malfunctions.
No
Yes, sir.
malfunctions. Traps. The miner's way of holding the line.
Shit. Okay, I'll unlock the subdecks. Just make sure that beacon's not wired to anything.
Alright. Find the SOS bacon. I know you're here. I know you're here. Bacon. Donuts. Okay, find the admin rig. Admin rig. Alright. Are you gonna smash that crate? Oh fuck, you're right. Sorry, I'm not fully awake yet. Alright, here. Oh my god, thank you for the follow! Is Prime? Welcome, welcome! Alright, we go all the way back. How are you? How's your day? Welcome to the stream. Today we are playing some Dead Space. Yes, sir. Okay. It's been alright lying in bed and having trouble sleeping. You're having trouble sleeping? Aww. I wish I could sleep right now. I was actually in the middle of my sleep before I had to like get up and stream! Oh my god. I wish I was in bed right now. Alright. Gotta move all of these. Play. Dead Space is a comfort watch for some reason. Is it really?
If you find this, I'm off deck.
I can see. I can see.
Another survivor. It sounded terrifying. I'm gonna lock up the SOS lead.
Get wireless
This
peripherals.
launch window's not for a while.
Peripherals?
Anyway, he
Stream
sounds
from
like
bed?
he's working at risk. He's a doctor.
Oh my god, I wish I could.
Mercer. I think. Time. Got a fucking break.
Temple.
I love you. Please, be careful down here.
Okay. Is that it? Move all of these. No, move this. Show yourself. Oh my god, welcome Miss Graham. Welcome, welcome. How are you? How's your day? This guy's dead. I know there's something there. Hold on, let me check the other side. Let me check the other side. Okay. Medkit? Okay. Alright. What? Yeah? Okay. How are you still alive? Oh! My God, burn! How are you not dead? Are you dead now? Okay. You're doing good. That's great. That's great. That is very good. Alright. Where do I go? Over there? I'm shooting your legs! Why will you get crippled? Ow! Shit! I didn't even see you! Are you dead? Can I leave? Can I leave? Okay. Oh my God. Ignorance is a bliss. Interpret it as you wish. Oh, as you will. Okay. Especially in horror games. Okay, okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Oh shit. Oh shit, he's my pants. Oh my God. Goodness gracious. Don't come to me, please. Give me items. Okay. Anything? The fire. Noise, noise. Okay, level 3. What is over here? Nothing? Okay.
Entering zero gravity.
Oh my God, we're flying again.
The administrator's rig should be in the processing control room, but someone tripped the failsafe. The control room door can't open till gravity is restored, but the system won't reset the gravity while there's loose debris.
Is the processing beam still running? Stand by.
Okay. Oh, over there. Probably more necromorphs. Here. God. Not restore gravity. How do I restore the gravity? Go this side. This side? I think the answer to what's in the whole station is more necromorphs. I don't know what to do here. Oh, gotta send the asteroids into the light beam if I remember right. Oh, wait, how do I send them? Can I stasis them?
Anomaly destroyed.
Ah, okay. Oh, no, I didn't mean to grab you. killed you. Where's the little? Where are you, you little? Where is he? Oh, he's right there. Oh my god, I can't fight here. I can't fight here. It's too bad. Ah, I can't. Oh my god. I need distance. Give me distance. Can I not land here? You little baby. I swear to god. Why are these guys so hard to kill? Give me nightmares. I swear. Stop! Kill me! Are you dead? You are not dead. How do you have so much health? Oh, you're not dead? Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh god, okay. Let me just heal myself. You know? Take this. Okay. Calm and steady will win the game. Calm and steady.
Anomaly destroyed.
Is that all of it? Am I missing another asteroid? Where is it though? Am I just blind? There's one more? One more? There's one more? Oh, I see it. Okay. So I am blind, okay.
All free-floating anomalies destroyed.
Oh.
Gravity can now.
I did not mean to do that. Alright! Alright! Okay.
Gravity restored. Processing control room is now accessible.
Let me. Ow! Oh shit! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away! I'll burn you! Back! Back! Oh my god! I'll burn you! Do I have another gun? Oh my god. How are you still alive? You won't die. You won't die. Oh my god, I missed that. Oh my god.
Entering
Oh my
zero
god.
gravity.
The administrator's rig.
You know what?
should be in the
It's
processing
good.
control
It's
room,
good.
but
It's okay.
someone tripped the failsafe.
Now I know what to
The
do.
control room door can't open
It's
till
okay.
gravity.
It's
It won't reset the gravity
It's
while it
okay.
moves
It's
debris.
At least the processing beam's still running.
that I know what to do. You know, trial and error, alright? Trial and error. Trial and error. Alright. Yeah, don't die. I got it. I got it. I got it. I I got it. I got it. I go here.
Anomaly destroyed.
Okay, this is bad. Oh my god, you run so fast! Oh shit! Who are you? Little baby demon? Fuck! Are you on top of me? Where are you? Jesus Christ! Stop! Oh my god! Where's the other one? Okay. You are really dead now, right? Give me that, give me that. Okay. You not have any like... Oh wait. Easy! Easy! Oh fuck. I lost my... I hate flying! I hate flying! My sense of direction is so bad. So welcome in! Montreal! Welcome, welcome! How are you? How was your day? Fuck. Okay. Fuck. Grab it! Grab it! Fuck! I have to go to the other side now. Grab it! No, please. Okay. Fly over here. It's okay. I had to be over here anyways. Like aim is the plus I correct? Can just a little bit. Okay. Okay, chaos. Okay. I know that. You know, it's just, you know, I'm not like fully awake yet, you know? It's, you know, my eyes hasn't like, my eyes haven't like opened yet, you know? That's why. That's why.
Control room is now accessible.
Oh shit. Ow! Shit. Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Oh my goodness! Why do I feel like there's more this round than last round? Alright. It's good. It's good. I'm wonderful. I hope everyone's doing well. Like for reals. I'm doing great. Doing great. Doing great. To shoot the explosive bulbs on the arm to make them explode. Yeah, I was trying to do that, but like they just wouldn't explode. They wouldn't explode.
The control room door can't open till gravity's restored, but the system won't
It's okay,
reset
it's
the
fine.
gravity while there's loose debris.
At least the processing beam's still running. Stand by.
It's okay. Trial and error. Trial and error. Okay. Trial and error. You know what? Trial and error.
Anomaly destroyed.
Just one guy. Okay. Okay. Freaking die, baby! Oh my god. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Who are you? Where's the other demon? Okay, I'm getting spit from behind. Am I blind? Do I not see him? Oh, he's right there. Give me that. Give me that. Did you drop health? Okay. I'll take that. Go down, go down, go down. Okay. This one. Fuck. Oh!
Technology destroyed.
Alright, alright. And then this one.
All free flow.
And then I'm ready, I'm ready.
Technology restored. Processing control
I'm
room
ready.
is now accessible.
Oh my god, little chickens! Get away from me! You guys all dead? Actually. Get away from me! You won't die. Is that all of them? It has to be, right? Nice! Alright! Oh, give me loot! Give me loot! Let's shoot that. Give me loot! Is this one still alive? Not anymore. Okay. Oh, I have to go over there. I have to go over here? Oh god. Get away from me! Get away from me! Okay. Okay. I'm good, I'm good. I'm good. Now don't stop on the explosive. I know that. I learned my lesson. Alright, I got it. Control panel. Okay. Elevator. Flamethrower, med pack. Clearance level 3.
Supervisor Dallas.
Okay.
Final log. I've made sure they can't leave this subdeck. But neither can
Alright, I have moved to my phone so now I can hop on Vision of Mana. Ooh, fun!
what they become.
Fun.
And I cannot let that happen to me. At least if I don't have any limbs. And I can't kill anyone when I'm infected.
Supervisor Dallas.
Please. Tell Dawn and the kids that I love them.
Dawn and the kids. They have kids? How long? How long is this recording?
Come on, man, just one more.
Okay, power back on. Oh shit! Alright. To the elevator we
The
go.
administrator's red changed location. You got it?
I got it. I'll check the maintenance subdeck
Oh,
for Temple's
shit.
beacon.
Oh shit, he's spitting at me! Oh shit! Oh shit! He's spitting at me! We dead? Okay, let me save. Yeah, it was an exploratory mining vessel. Also, right now you're listening to him amputate his own limbs. Oh, that's what he was doing. Oh, I thought he was being like a little bit overly dramatic. I didn't know he was cutting off his own leg. Oh god. Wait, what is this?
Security request retrieved.
Oh yeah, I have level 3 clearance now, right?
Security to the mining deck
No?
now. Dr. Khan
I do,
lost
right?
it. Get back! I know how to use this. He'll live for the rest of his life if you give me codes to the cargo bay. This is processing. Why the hell would we have codes for cargo? I must get to the marker. We're running out of time. Give me those codes. Christ, is this what you did to the captain? No, Ben was an accident. Don't you dare compare me to someone like Mercer. You're insane. The markers are our only hope. No, let him go. He's armed. Where the fuck is security?
He was hoping that if he cut off his limbs, he wouldn't be able to hurt anyone when he's... Oh! Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Can't go there. Find the SOS bacon. SOS bacon. Bacon. Jesus Christ. I'm like halfway through the game now. Hammond?
Hammond? He must be in the vents on the crew deck.
They're bringing something in.
They? Oh, the cults people. Huh. I see.
Make it stop!
What? That was the marker. Did you?
No. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, Church of
I lost
Unitology.
Hammond's signal again. Just get the SOS beacon. I want off this fucking ship.
I want off this fucking ship too. Okay. I hear somebody dying. Somebody's dying. Holy crap. Holy shit. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. shooting at me. Okay. Oh my god, is it one of those? Oh my god, it's one of these guys. No, I hate this guy. Literally, I hate this guy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Not dead yet. How are you not dead? Oh my god, die! Oh my god, I hate this guy. This guy is so annoying. He just won't die. He keeps giving birth. These little demons. Anyway, now that's over. Can finally like look around. Okay. The maintenance room. What's over here then? What's in this room? Secure storage. Loot? Loot. Am I gonna get loot here? No? Oh, I could only turn one at a time. Wait, what's the nearest? That's one. Oh, open three. Oh. Nothing? Okay.
Log retrieved.
Record then. What difference does it make now?
Terrence, I know the marker is responsible for the outbreak. I need to understand how.
The marker.
Signal.
Marker?
When it pulses, that signal can trigger
I
alternating
hardly even
genetic
know
codes.
her.
Neural structure.
Amelia. I must return to the marker.
But how do I stop it?
Sue's right.
No. He's taking all
Fuck
his
the
marker
church.
research up to his
The
room
church
on
wants to
crew
doom
ticket,
us all.
too. No.
Sealed it? Do you know how? Please, I need Mercer's data.
No. He'll kill you. I won't have more deaths on my conscience. Unitology was all I had after I lost him.
If it weren't for you, I never would have made it this far because you made me stick with it.
God.
For 6 months so you could do this.
Loved Amelia.
Oh my god.
I love Isaac, but if I can't cure this outbreak, I'll never see him again.
Oh my god, I don't have any more. Attack me, motherfuckers.
You must get into Mercer's room.
I don't have any flamethrowers to kill these. These little chickens. These don't follow me.
Dr. Brennan. Nicole. The only thing Mercer ever feared was death. Now, I doubt he's afraid of anything.
Ooh. Okay. Ah! Ah! Kill me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Oh my god! You son of a B-word! Oh my god, this gun is so slow! It's fine. Let's take a big old chunk of my health. Oh god. Find out SOS bacon. SOS bacon. Okay, let me save, let me save. Okay. Let me switch my guns. I know for sure I don't have any ammo. No ammo for anything. Okay, what's this? Reload. Alright. Oh. There's a guy right there. Are you alive? Oh, you dead now? Oh god. I'm about to fight spitters here. I just know it. Spitters? Come on. Show yourself! I know you're here. Let me see. Okay. Oh, is that all? Okay.
Isaac.
Daniels. Oh wait, is that Daniels? Or is that Brennan?
Oh my god. I can't
That was
believe
Nicole.
I thought I'd never see you again. I'm gonna get us home. There's an SOS beacon nearby. We can call for help.
The beacon, right. They locked it in the workshop, but my clearance can get us in. This way.
Okay. How do I get over there? Okay, you can keep this weapon.
The workshop from
Okay.
here.
Nicole, there's so much I need to tell you.
I know. We'll have time, I promise. Let's get you that beacon. Everyone's counting on us.
I feel like she's gonna backstab me. Am I have a feeling. I feel like she's being too nice and she's actually like the evil guy, you know? Oh my god! Okay, what happens if I don't save her? Will she die? Okay. How are you not dead? Ghosts can't backstab you? She's a ghost? But she's right there in the flesh. Is she dead? She's not a hologram, is she?
I've never seen you.
She doesn't look like a hologram.
You're a surgeon with that thing.
I got your back. Okay. How do I reach you?
No, focus on launching that.
Not really, but spoilers? No! You're gonna spoil me right now? Don't spoil me.
You see any more? You hide. Okay?
Cross my heart. I love you, Isaac.
Unless you don't mind spoilers. I do mind spoilers, sir.
The way they work.
For your information.
And make us whole again.
Okay. So are you like telling me she's dead? Okay. Beacon. There's more to it than that, so I'll just leave it there. Alright. Alright. Alright.
Isaac, I lost your rig signal, like Hammond's.
I'm good. I got the SOS beacon. Nicole helped me out.
Nicole's there.
We got separated. She'll find her way back.
She's a trooper, huh?
I'm heading back to the mining control.
No, am I crazy?
I'll watch the beacon. You watch out for Nicole.
Assuming the system doesn't fizzle out again. Stay sharp.
Am I hallucinating? Is that why? Okay. Where does this take me? Yes and no? Oh yeah, that did too much damage. Okay, I can't go down. What is this?
Entering zero gravity.
Oh, zero gravity. Okay, where do I go? Over there? Okay. Let me save! Let me save! Yes. Wait, this is where I came from, isn't it?
Exiting zero gravity.
Launch SOS beacon. Can you grab this? God, like I said, there's a good bit to it. Okay, okay. It's because of the lack of oxygen in my brain that I'm going crazy. I'm losing brain cells. Not enough blood in my brain. No power.
Warning, power failure.
Thank you for the redeem, Sam. Thank you. Also welcome in, Sam. Welcome. Instant death? Come at me. Come on. Where's the guy? Okay. Oh! Okay.
Power restored.
Go over here. I mean, if that's how you really feel, I don't know how I feel. I don't know. Okay. You can't block this. Oh, I go here. Never mind.